Hello my beautiful friends, thanks so much for tuning in. So in today's video I'm gonna be doing a very quick Q&A. I have a few questions that I wanted to answer some of the mamas to actually ask me to do a video about. So I'm gonna answer some of those questions, so stay with me and let's get started. Okay, so I wrote it down, I printed it out. So the first question was, when do I do morning basket along with homeschool, regular homeschool? So what does that look like for me on a regular day? So for the most part, we always do morning time basket just after breakfast kind of thing, and we take about an hour into our morning basket to an hour and a half. Then we take maybe like a quick break, and then we'll head right downstairs to the basement to do our independent work. So that's what it looks like some days, most days. But now that I have a newborn baby, he's actually 6 months, he's getting so big, things look differently this year for me than they looked last year. So for me this year is kind of doing things during his break, right after he feeds and stuff like that, you know. So right after he feeds could look like me having to change his diaper, you know, and take a break in the middle of independent work to change his diaper. So, you know, it just changes little by little. But for the most part, I always do morning time right after breakfast. I try to start right after breakfast. And then we take a quick break, maybe like after an hour that we're into our morning time. And then the boys go downstairs. And I usually give them a snack in between because that's the incentive. They get a snack so they can go downstairs and do the independent work. And the independent work for me looks like an hour and a half or so, a little bit more than an hour and a half sometimes. Then there's days where I do history with Jo, just me and him, and that looks like something like around 3 o'clock, or it depends, like if daddy's working overtime, it'll be 3 o'clock. If daddy's not working overtime, I try to push for 2 o'clock so that we could be done by 3. So it always kind of changes. I'm not about like having a rigid schedule. I'm more of a rhythm, just how my day's going, the rhythm of my day, kind of follow that along. So I hope that makes sense for the mama that asked that question. Number 2, where do I get a lot of my resources? That's one of the mamas that asks as well. And printables. So I share a lot of my IG and Instagram. So this question came from Instagram. And a lot of my resources, I always either get them from Teachers by Teachers, or I literally just Google. Like, let's say if I'm doing, right now we're doing a study on Laura Ingalls Wilder, and I can just Google Laura Ingalls Wilder printouts or coloring pages, Pioneer coloring pages, word search. You know, I kind of Google sometimes, and I go from there to the website, see if it's free and so forth. I also love Pinterest, so I go to Pinterest, free printouts and stuff like that. So Teachers by Teachers, Pinterest for me, I kind of Google what I'm looking for. But Pinterest and Teachers by Teachers have always been there, like the number 1 for me. Let's see, planning with a variety. So one of my mama friends also asked, how do I plan with a variety? I would say that word wrong, it's my accent. A variety of resources and getting overwhelmed. So she's asking, in other words, how do I plan with so many resources and not get overwhelmed? So I totally get this question so much because I have so many books, and sometimes I get overwhelmed. And then I get upset because I finished the unit and I'm like, I found the book that I didn't get to use. So if you have too many resources where to the point that you're getting overwhelmed, or it's not feeling like, I don't know, it's not helping, then I would say you really do want to do maybe like a decluttering, because I started doing decluttering already. I had a bunch of new books. There goes my little pre-K 4. I have a bunch of books, and then a friend of mine gave me like 50 books, and I did not know where to put those 50 books. You saying hello? So I literally had to just reconsider all the ones that I already had and find a new spot for the new ones, but also declutter. I realized I have a lot of extra that I don't need. So right now, okay, JJ, let me do the video. Yeah. So right now I have, like, let's say for the human body, I have about maybe 6 books that are really, really good and really helpful, and I'm okay with that. There's always the library. I would say try to declutter a little bit if it's getting you overwhelmed. But how I do it is I do a little bit of like over planning sometimes, especially when it comes to my morning time. I kind of do a little bit over planning, and I just kind of go with the flow with how it feels for us, because sometimes I can plan something, get excited about, and my kids are not into it. So here I am having all these resources and we're not even using half of them. So I kind of just lower my expectations a little bit when it comes to the resources, but I do have plenty of resources that we could use in case they're just like all into the subject and they want to dig deeper, and that's great. So just kind of like use what you have, but if it feels too overwhelming, maybe you want to declutter and kind of just say what's the best one that I could use that will kind of like encompass everything that you want to cover in the unit or whatever you're planning for. So that's what I would say. And this is from experience too, because I started buying a lot of books at one point and I literally had to stop. And I'm sorry, this is my laundry going over there, because I was feeling overwhelmed. I was feeling like, oh my gosh, like 10 months have passed and I haven't even dug into half of these resources. Like, what's the point? But there's also a lot of like seasons. So for example, right now I'm with the newborn, so we're doing more of a simple approach to homeschool right now because of the newborn. But last year I dug a lot more deeper into some of the resources, some of the units that I was planning because I had that time. So consider that too. Maybe you won't use it this year, but you might use it next year, depending on your situation and your kiddos and stuff like that. So that's what I would consider too. Okay, next one. How do I plan? One of the mamas asked, how do I plan it? Do I plan monthly or week by week? And to be honest, right now, it does, like I said, it doesn't look like the same as last year because of the newborn. So right now, in the state of, in this state of my life where I am, the way I'm planning is almost like every 2 days. Like I'm just kind of planning 2 days ahead. That's where I am right now. When it comes to morning time, I love it. I plan it all at one time, the whole week. It's easy for me. I just kind of like use a base for the unit, and then I kind of just gather a bunch of resources and some activities and done. But when it comes to like, when it comes to my independent work, my kids, I'm teaching Jonah how to read, so he's halfway in there, so I have to really plan the lessons. I'm actually doing two days at a time. I'm the type of person that I literally can't handle a month. I will never do a month. But I like to do the whole week planned. I love having the whole week planned. And maybe 2 weeks at a time. But I never go above 2 weeks. I feel like I forget half of the things that I've planned. I really do. So I never handle the month planning. I always just do week by week. And that's what works for me. So I hope that answered your question. Okay. And another mama asked me, how do I plan unit studies for my morning basket? So I do the unit studies in my morning basket. That's pretty much when we get to dig in. A unit study, more fun, kind of like look forward to it the next day, more further into it. I love it. So how I plan a unit studies, because I've been using the Passport Adventures as a base, that really helps me out. So it's kind of like my main theme, and then I kind of expand from there. If you were kind of just trying to do a theme, you would just consider what theme your kids will be into. Like let's say they're into bugs right now, so you want to do a bug theme. So I would get printouts, I would get coloring pages, because you're doing read alouds as well. I would get read alouds from the library. While you're reading aloud, you want them to keep themselves busy with their hands. You want to do drawing of bugs, or sometimes I give JJ like a blank sheet of paper with a bunch of stickers. He just goes to town with the stickers. So it just depends your kids' ages really, and my kids are 10 and under. So the way I plan is I use a lot of the library resources, and I use my Passport Adventures as a base. And then I go to Teachers by Teachers, I go to Pinterest, I get crafts from Pinterest. The Passport Adventures has a lot already for me. So I use the resources from the Passport Adventures, and then I add to it because then I find other things that I want to do. So yeah, that's kind of like a plan. And I do have a video about this unit planning thing. So I'm going to link that down below, sorry. Okay, so one of the last questions was, what are my homeschool staples? So I'm going to answer that question. And I do want to say that I am kind of like that trying the next best thing kind of girl. I don't keep things all the time. If it works for one child, it might not work for the next kind of thing. So I'm always trying new things. So because I'm always trying new things, some things don't become staples in my, homeschool. Except if you're saying like supplies is different, but this mom in particular was not talking about supplies. She was talking about resources like books and stuff like that. So I'm going to share some of the ones that I will never part with because they're amazing. And I hope that helps. So I'm going to flip the camera to do that one. And before I do that one, don't forget to follow me on Instagram. I always say this because now with the whole YouTube laws, my channel feels like it's going to get lost and stuff or somewhere, you know. So I feel like if you want to stay connected with me, if you want to just follow me more, I think Instagram will be the best bet right now. But also just hit the notification bell so that you can be notified when I post videos. I hope I answered those questions correctly, and let me just show you my homeschool staples. The first one that I would totally recommend is this maps book. It is awesome by Big Picture, it says there, but it's such a good resource to have for your kiddos, especially because it's so big and it captures their attention, and you get to discuss all the pictures that it come with and continents and countries. I really love this one. This is totally one that I would recommend. And let me show you a little bit more inside. Just comes full jam-packed with information and pictures and just fun illustrations. So my kids really like this one. Of course, I have to mention these two, the Indescribable 100 Devotions of God and Science, and then the How Great Is Our God, and both by Louis Giglio. I have a video about these, so I won't go deep into this one, but I definitely consider these a homeschool staple, especially because we enjoy them so much, and I think that these stories don't get old. They're awesome. These are actually fairly new to me this year. I actually won them on a giveaway, but these are going to become a staple. They're so good. They will come in handy. I've already been using this one, the Ultimate Language Arts Cheat Sheet, 15 Resources for Language Arts. This is by Samantha Shank. She's the creator. She has an IG account. The Ultimate United States History Great Cheat Sheets, 15 Resources of U.S. History and Government. Love it. I'll show you a little bit of the inside. And then this one, the Ultimate Math Cheat Sheets, and this is for grades 4 and 8. So I'm just going to show you really quick inside. I think I'll do another video to kind of give you more in detail, but you can see a little bit of what it looks like inside. And this is so good to have, just to do as exactly what it is, a cheat sheet to use for resource to teach your children, or to have them use it as reference when they're doing certain studies on these topics. So totally awesome. And let me show you this one. So I'm going to be doing a math week with JL, and I'm using this as a base. I'm excited about that. But this is what it looks like. I hope to do another video just to give you more of an inside look on these. But that's another homeschool staple that, well, it's becoming a homeschool staple for us. Okay, this is another one. This is the Smithsonian DK Natural History, and it's the Ultimate Visual Guide to Everything on Earth. This is a huge, like an encyclopedia type of book. It just covers so many things here in just one big humongous book. Now with this, I will take it and also do like a Bible worldview kind of thing, because some of the information is not something I will teach my children or believe in. But other than that, I will bring this, I will use this as a study for the pictures, for the information, and then kind of like adjust it depending on, you know, what we believe in. But yeah, this is a great resource to have too. I also won this one from a giveaway, so I was excited to win this one. I always wanted it. It says The Nature Anatomy by Julia Rotham. Of course, all of these books are excellent. This is another one for nature. I love the illustrations. I love the size of it, and all the information you can gather from this type of book. So I definitely love this one. And it has, it says The Curious Parts and Pieces of the Nature World. So I just love it. We've used it for our bird study. We did a bird study last year. We also did a bug study last year. We haven't used it this year yet, but I know this is going to come out in March, April, May, when the bugs come out and we got to go outside more. After all the snow and cold air has gone away, we'll get this back in our hands. We also did a bee study, and we used this one for our bee study. So we love this one too. It's such a great resource to have. And my baby is calling me, but this is another one, Uncover the Human Body. This has been with me for years. My kids love going through this. And so this is also another staple that we use throughout the years. We love to see the model transform, and also all the information that it has. So this is definitely a great one for anatomy, the human body and so forth. So we love it. We love this one too.